Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's live. We are doing a live video with live readings. So that is what we're doing in this video. I will explain how it works. Welcome on to everyone jumping on. Welcome back to those coming back. And for anyone watching the replay, hey to you as well. So today we are doing live readings, which means I read your charts and you can book it in the comments. So that's how this works. And so then what you do, if you want to be one of the people who get their live reading today in this broadcast, these are not really scheduled. I just do them when I have a few hours of free time, impromptu. And so if you want to get alive today, we have 3 choices of topics you can choose from. The first one is blocks. So I'll look into your chart to see in your natal chart what blocks stand out to me as far as life challenges and themes to overcome. The second theme is blessings. And the third is transits. If you choose blessings, that's going to be what's good in your chart. What do I see that stands out as being the area of life that where things might come easily to you, or what is what I see your blessings to be. So usually for the blessings, we're looking at Venus or Jupiter or both. And then the last option is transit. So I can look at your chart. Chimichurri says I'm down. So if you're down, go ahead and book your reading in the comments. And the way this works is the first person who books it gets to be first, and so on. So, wait, did someone already book? Someone already booked. So we have one person. Courtney, are you here? Did this just happen? Yes, this just happened. Transits. Okay, so I'm going to get ready for you, Courtney. And while I'm doing that, for everyone else who's like, what are we doing? We're doing blocks, blessings, or transits. So you use the link in the top of the chat to book. And I have to move this back because you know what happens is after like an hour, my neck hurts. And I'm like, oh man, I was just looking down for too long. Okay, so yes, Courtney has already booked her reading. So she's first, and whoever books next will be next. And we'll just keep going with that until we run out of people or I get tired or something. But if you book using the link in the chat, your reading will be done today. So the readings are 5 minutes. I set a 5-minute timer, and usually I wrap it up after that point. And there is one booked now. So whoever books next will be the second one of the day. So Courtney, let me know if you are on. I saw your booking and I can pull up your chart. Unless you change your name on here, which could always happen. Okay. So yes, I'm going to pull it up now. There we go. Okay. So for anyone just getting on who is joining us, welcome to today's live readings. You can book your reading in the top of the chat. You have a choice between blocks, blessings, or transits. It explains it if you click the link and you look at it, but basically blocks is like, what are the problems in your chart? Blessings is what are the solutions or things that come easily. And then transits is what is happening now. Okay, I'm going to go ahead with Courtney because, I'm going to go ahead with Courtney. All right, let me get the transits up here. Okay. Okay, so I'm ready. I just needed a minute, you guys, to just check it out. Okay, so here we go with Courtney. Let me set the timer. And yeah, okay, so I'm noticing Mars will go retrograde in your second house early December. So it's slowing down now. Pay attention to what might be slowing down for you related to work or just what's going on. Like what's going on with work, what's going on with pleasure, dating, creativity, and what in these areas there might be a change of pace in these areas as of December 1st. There might be just a noticeable change to the speed at work. Now, it could just be like a slow time at work, going back through a certain project that started a while ago or something like that. But generally speaking, when Mars is in your second house, you're going to be working for money because Mars stimulates. And so we have Mars stimulating your second house plus Mercury stimulating your sixth house. The sixth house is of like day-to-day stuff you got to deal with. And the second house is money and your things. So I would think it might be a time where you're just doing more work or doing some overtime or even like going to the doctor more with Mercury approaching this Saturn-Uranus conjunction. Dealing with potential health problems. I'm not saying you have bad ones, but if you already have migraines or you already have something that you deal with, then Mercury is going to bring activity to that. And so I wouldn't say it's going to give you a migraine, but it will highlight problems. Saturn in the sixth. Well, what kind of problems? Maybe money problems, work problems. You might just have more to do at work or more overtime. Okay, let's talk about what Venus might be doing that's good here in the seventh house. That's going to be basically bringing good things to relationships, bringing gifts or like lovely conversations or planning things together, especially since Venus is in Capricorn. Planning things together with your partner is highlighted if you're in a relationship. If you are not right now, then this would be like enjoying other people. Venus in the seventh is like enjoying other people. And because Venus rules your fourth house of home, and it also rules your 11th house. This is a nice, the 11th house ruler is going to bring something positive with other people. So it might just be, enjoying time, especially with Mars about to go retrograde ruling the fifth. It makes me wonder if you might be replanning dates or like sort of planning stuff out with other people. Enjoying things with them. But, Venus in Capricorn can just as easily be enjoying making a plan for something, enjoying hard work and sacrifice and like finding the joy in it or sacrificing for something that is going to provide you something later on, but it's in the seventh house of other people. So I don't think this is like you, having some big sacrifice. Maybe you did agree to something that requires some kind of sacrifice on your part of your time or something recently. I'm thinking like more hours, but with Venus in the seventh, it's like, what does this person need from me? What do partners need from me in order to have relationships work? What time commitments do I need to make? So I almost wonder if it's like a time of, especially the last couple of days, of like just getting things on the calendar, making commitments. It kind of feels like that might be what you're thinking about, is like short or long-term commitments, and that Venus in the seventh highlighting that. Okay, let me see what else I see that's like jumping out here. Yeah, okay, that Mars square your sun, that's bigger than anything I've talked about so far. So the sun in the fifth is like the desire for creativity, the desire to enjoy your life, the desire to express yourself. Mars is putting pressure on that point. Now let's just see for fun if this becomes, hold on, that's the timer. Okay, let's just see for fun. Yeah, it does. So I was going to see, does it actually come? I couldn't remember what degree Mars went retrograde, but it's 6. So I'm just going to find the day that this becomes exact, which is going to be the 30th. Don't think that bad things will happen. Although, one thing that makes this less challenging is that you have a night chart. So Mars is still challenging, but not as bad as Saturn would be. And so financial pressure that doesn't let you have fun, or you feeling like you need to go spend all your money and then feeling like you overspent. Or let's see, what does the sun rule your second house? Yeah, I would say there might be, if there is money stuff right now, like pressure happening, I'm predicting that that pressure comes to a head on the 30th of November. So now I don't think it's going to stop then and all magically go away. I think this will be the most pressurized financial moment. Why? Because Mars is making a direct square to your sun. The sun is the money planet. Mars is ruling the sun because the sun is in Scorpio. So it's like, there's no way this can't be that. Like, do you have enough money to do the next thing you really want to do? Do you have enough money to get away from a situation? Do you have enough money to be yourself is kind of the feeling. Now, I guess it could be pressure at work where you can't like have your hair how you want it or something like that. Where it's like, where it's like that kind of pressure where it just, what you have to do for money really grates on you or doesn't allow you to feel like you're being your authentic self. That is a possibility here with the, with the square. But it could also be putting your butt in gear and you being like, I got to do this. I just got to say yes to this overtime and have more of an exciting, or I don't want to say exciting. I feel like that's sugarcoating it a little bit, but have a little bit more of an effect that's like, okay, I see that I need X amount of dollars. I see that my work allows this extra project. I'm going to go for it. Or going for a promotion, or like just putting your head down and like really tackling some kind of goal and doing that. That's pretty much what I have. So I think right now there is a lot of focus on work. You're going to have that new moon in the 6th house of like day-to-day schedule and routines. Today that we're doing this reading, the moon's in the 3rd house, which brings focus to what you got to do, right? And so the moon trining Venus from the 7th to the 3rd, what do you got to do? What do you got to do for other people? What are your commitments to them, whether it be at work or otherwise? You still have Jupiter in that 12th house, bringing that extra positivity right now to prayer, meditation, other things you do in isolation that are, what am I trying to say? Private and spiritual. And just you get more rewards from private spiritual practice right now than you would from not doing that. And so that's going to continue through the year and even into like May of next year. June is when Jupiter enters Cancer. So for long term, there is a lot to look forward to on that transit because it is going to hit your ascendant and it's going to be in your 1st house. So that'll be really nice. Because everyone gets the exaltation of Jupiter when it goes through Cancer, but yours is in your 1st house, so it'll be a strong thing for you. Okay, so then, that is what I have for you, Courtney. feel free to let me know what you thought of that. And I hope to see you again sometime. Okay, take care. All right. So then for everybody else, let me just put this back on transits. For everybody else who's watching, today is a day that we are doing live readings. This is an impromptu thing. And you can get yours by clicking the link at the top of the chat. You can choose blocks, blessings, or transits. If you choose blocks, that is the problems I see in your natal chart. If you choose blessings, that is the blessings that I see in your natal chart. And if you choose transits, then you get what I just did for Courtney, which is going around your chart and going around your chart and seeing what the energies have in store for you. So that being said, I have some announcements about what's up with what I've got going on. So the first thing is that hold on, I need water. Okay, so the first thing is that I have an ideal career profile that you can do if you want a reading from me. It's actually a really great thing to do if you want to know about career, if you want a reading from me, but you don't want it to be on YouTube. And it does expire on the 28th. So that's this Thursday. So that's 4 days till that expires. So if you want that, I don't open these all the time. I put them on the schedule for a short time and then I take them off because doing mini readings is actually quite hard. What I mean is it's just not something I offer always. Just because of the time and energy it takes to do mini readings. I do them in batches. So the way for me to make that possible is to have them only available for a certain amount of time and then they go off. Okay, so if you want the ideal career profile one, there is a link in the chat. That one is going away on Thursday. So there's 4 days to get in on that. And here's the thing. There's a couple things that make that a really cool thing to do. It doesn't tell you like you're supposed to be an engineer. It's not like that. It's actually more like, here's what you might enjoy in your work. And based on your sun, based on your moon, based on your rising sign. And then it tells you other things as well. But it's based on, it really is, there's a lot we base for career on your sun, moon, and rising. And that is, let me think. Yeah, okay, so there's a lot we base on your sun, moon, and rising for career. And those are part of the things we look out for, what you're going to enjoy, what you're going to be good at, what your natural role is going to be. And then there's also the midheaven. So that ideal career profile tells you all of that. And if you do the ideal career profile, then you get a coupon for 50% off for a Zoom call with me. So that's another reason to do it. And that is that. So going back to, okay, so there's another thing, and that is that I'm going to do a Black Friday sale very soon. If you want to be the first to know, the best way to do that is to get on my email list, because then anytime I do anything, you are like the first to know. So if I do like a new video that is available, that's like a personal video, or a sale, or a new course. So I'm putting the link in the chat for that as well. For anyone just jumping on who's wondering what we are doing, today is live readings. So you are able to book with me using the link in the chat. If you want to get one, we did one already. And so whoever books next will be next. They're first come, first serve. And if you book yours today, you will get it today. So we have three choices. We have blocks, we have blessings, or we have transits. Blocks is going to be the challenges in your chart. Blessings is going to be the things that I see that you are good at. And transits is going to be what the energy is doing now. And for transits, we're going most significant to least significant. You know, what stands out to me, it's not, it is a mini reading. So if you want like a full yearly reading, I can't do that here. The full yearly reading, you need to book a full reading for by itself with no other topics. Sometimes people want like the yearly and they want to look at the midheaven and they want to do this and they want to do this. And it's like, we can't do all of that. Like it takes an hour to go through your whole year. It's a whole year. It's not a 5-minute thing. Okay. So again, for anyone just jumping on, we're doing live readings. You can click the link at the top of the chat to get in on yours. And that is what we're doing. And there's 3 choices. If you have questions, you can let me know in the chat. How are you guys doing? How is everyone feeling? Cora says, are we late? No, we're not really. I mean, I think I jumped on at like 3:20 or something. So everyone's right on time. Right on time. So yes, I'm trying to think of what the latest big transit was. I can ask you guys about how you did, how you're doing through it. I feel like, well, I mean, we do have Mercury going retrograde soon, but that's not, it matters, but I'm not trying to be the doom and gloom, Everyone should feel sad 3 times a year. Like, it matters though. It matters. You can really, if you pay attention to Mercury retrograde, what starts in your life the day of the station, what happens when Mercury hits the sun. Oh, it's so enlightening. Although my experience is always kind of something bad happens. It really is. Like, bad things usually happen in my life when Mercury hits that sun. But even if that's the case, observing the chart and observing what happens in your life when those transits happen, that is the best way to do astrology, and noticing patterns. Okay. Yeah, Cora's asking Mercury in retrograde in Sagittarius. Yeah, it is. It's going to be, let's see. Yeah, by next week, Mercury will be retrograde. And then by mid-December, it'll come out of retrograde. How do you guys deal with Mercury retrograde? I find that it doesn't usually get me that bad. I mean, I already make mistakes all the time. Like, I don't find that I'm more, like, technology doesn't usually give me too many issues, sometimes a little bit. But I also find that it's not a good time for me to like come up with brand new ideas. There really is some truth to that. Like, I've tried it just to test it and see. And this is what I do with like astrology lore, is I'll just like if I launch something brand new that's like a whole new course, during Mercury retrograde, nobody buys it. It's just off base, right? But like, I'm not going to stop doing stuff. I don't usually not do something because it's Mercury retrograde. Like, even if someone like wants to go on a date or something, I'm not going to be like, no, it's Mercury retrograde, it won't work out. I'm just not, I don't think they have that much power. Maybe I wouldn't get married under one. You know what I mean? Like, there's a difference. Okay. So Cora says, I was in a funky mood at Friendsgiving last night. I didn't eat any of the food, just drank water. Interesting. Okay. All right. So, what we'll do is if I get someone by 4, we'll stay on. But if not, I will jump off because I scheduled this until 4. But if we have people, I'll just move the timer and that's fine. So, yeah, for anyone else jumping on, we are doing live readings, which is where you can book using the link in the chat. It's pinned to the top of the chat, and then I read your chart in real time. I set a 5-minute timer, and then I just read it for 5 minutes, and that's your reading. And if you have questions about that, let me know. Okay. So yeah, we do have an upcoming Pluto opposite Mars. That one's not very fun, especially if you felt, okay, so here's what I'll say. I think November 1st was when this was getting strong. Yeah. So think about what was happening around the 1st of November. We were having that Mars opposite Pluto. So now Pluto has moved into Aquarius. If you have not seen the video on Pluto and Aquarius, what are you doing with your life? No, I'm just kidding. If you haven't seen it, there's actually 2. I have 2 Pluto and Aquarius videos. One is recent, like a couple of days ago. And then the other one was from when Pluto first went into Aquarius. But even though it was from that time, it's still based on the same thing. So you can actually watch both of those. Because I think I get a feeling I was more positive 2 years ago. The more I study astrology, the more I'm like, I need a Stoic philosophy to go with this because life sucks. I don't really think life sucks, but I do think that we see the challenges in the chart and stuff. Siddhartha, we're not doing, I'm actually going to delete that comment. I'm not mad at you, but we're not doing this isn't free readings. This is live readings if you book using the link in the chat. And if you want to, you totally can. But I just took that info off of there because I don't want it public. So yeah, that's why I deleted that. So yeah, if you were feeling stress around the 1st of November and like the pressure is on, that might be coming back. That is probably coming back. Like, well, and it's interesting because it's like, it actually would have been more, it's weird the way that this moves, right? Because like, as of last week, they're opposite again, but Mars is actually moving away from that opposition until it retrogrades in December. And then it will move back toward. So let's just go week by week. It'll move back toward that opposition as of December. And then that's going to be the pressure until like around January 1st. So the good news is think about how you were feeling around the 1st of November with like having your back against the wall, things you had to get done, things that you were real pressure to do. Sometimes that kind of pressure, that Mars Pluto pressure, that will bring out good things. You know, kind of like when you're an athlete and you're about to compete or something, right? Where it's like you need the competition to bring out the desire to compete, right? Or you need sometimes the situation doesn't have that silver lining. So if you're someone who has been through something that just involves pressure and there's no like fun competitive outlet, that's no fun. That's no fun for Mars. Mars wants to be able to win and fight. So you have a little break. We have a little break from that pressure happening. And then even once it does come back, Mars is going to quickly move out of sign. And then it won't come back to oppose Pluto again for quite a long time. Don't think that life is going to be so bad during Mars retrograde. It kind of depends on you. In my life, a lot of times good things happen. So then like around April, we're going to see that end of April, we're going to see that opposition again. Oh, Cora, your optimism tanked? Did something happen? I'm always super depressed on my birthday, but then I learned how to just look at the transits, and what I know now is that like I have a lot of planets in Sagittarius with my sun, right? So my birthday has, the sun makes contact with all of those planets and it squares the moon, right? So a lot of the challenges in my chart are kind of highlighted at that time. You can learn so much about yourself through astrology. It's amazing. Okay, back to what we're doing, which is live readings. I'm going to give you guys 10 more minutes to book. And if nobody books in 10 minutes, then I'm going to call it a day. If anyone does book in 10 minutes, then maybe I'll extend it. But today we can do you get 3 choices. One is blocks, one is blessings, one is transits. And blocks is going to be I look at your chart and tell you the blocks. Blessings is I look at your natal chart and tell you what's good, where you have potential in your life, what you can use to your advantage. And then transits is what's happening now. What's the energy that is hitting your chart at this moment? And if you do book and you're on YouTube, feel free to let me know in the chat. And we have 9 minutes. 9, we're going to count it down. Oh, Cora's going to book. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So I see you, Cora. And also I'm going to go in then. And okay, book for blocks. What am I doing? Oh, I'm going to change the time. because then other people who want to do it will be able to. It's just going to be slow for a second. All right. So I'll pull up your chart here, Cora, and then we'll go. One second here. Oh, I gotta add it here. Yes. Okay, so let me get our timer up and we'll start. Okay, so we have for blocks. Yeah, all right. Well, Mars would be my first choice. I'm trying to think of something we haven't talked about. Let's talk about Saturn for a minute. Because having Saturn in the 7th can bring some, it doesn't like mean you're never going to have a relationship. Obviously, you know that. But it can bring loneliness in early life, and especially in Cancer, right? Because having Saturn in Cancer, sometimes you grow up feeling like you're not like, it doesn't mean like no one cares, like it's not that dramatic, but a little bit of that, right? A little bit of that feeling like people don't care about me. If I want to do something, I have to do it myself. I have to take care of everyone else. Relationships become responsibility. And because you're wait. I just remembered you have an estimated time. Let me start over. I should have remembered that. And it says, I wrote it right on it so I don't forget. Okay, let me try this again. Yeah, so just Saturn in Cancer. And we're going to count it from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th from the sun and 12th from the moon. So let's talk about having Saturn in the 12th from the moon, because what does that mean? Having Saturn in the 12th from the sun, moon, or rising? Well, that your time alone will be necessary. And people with Saturn in the 12th, it's like if you have any tendencies for escapism or addiction, I'm not saying you do, but if you do, Saturn will kind of force you to deal with that. Saturn will force you to deal with, quote unquote, your demons when they're in the 12th house, whatever your demons are. And I know you, so like they can be not real demons. I mean, like the tendency to self-sabotage in a certain way, or, like things like that. So it's not always like, the invisible ones. I mean, they are all invisible, but like the ways that we are taken away from our own vitality, the ways that we all do. Okay, so Saturn in the 12th from the moon is going to do that. Saturn in the 9th from the sun is going to cause, it might actually, okay, we talked about this, problems with mentors. And we talked all about that one. So let me skip that one. Let's talk about Mercury-Uranus problems, because that's kind of a new one that's still relevant. The blocks or the problems you'll have with Uranus contacts in your chart to any planet is not feeling understood, feeling different, feeling weird, feeling alienated, outcast. Especially with Mercury and Libra, it's like Mercury and Libra needs to feel like they're not rocking the boat too much. Libra placements in general don't want to rock the boat, don't want to cause conflict. But Scorpio placements, especially Mars, do want conflict, actually. So you have a little bit, this is an example of how we have some built-in contradictions. This part of you needs peace. This part of you needs war. Which one's going to win? I'm going to tell you right now, Mars wins. But sometimes when Mars wins, It doesn't always come from us. Sometimes it will come outside of us, and we won't recognize I don't want to say it like it's your own fault, because it's not always the case. Sometimes though, that inner need to fight, if it doesn't go in the right place, it just attracts fights. And I say that as a fellow Mars and Scorpio, that if you don't put your Mars in the right place, other people will Mars the shit out of you. And what that means in real life is like, if you're not competing in something or embracing certain challenges, like Mars and Scorpio needs to fight, to wrestle, to dominate, to strategize, to win, to physically work out, like put everything out on the table and like go for it all and like attack life, not in a now I'm exhausted kind of a way, but like I put everything I had out on the table. I didn't hold back. I jumped all in. Mars and Scorpio kind of has to be all in, or they just aren't honoring that Mars. So this is for anyone with Mars and Scorpio, but we're talking about Quora right now. Is if you start feeling like everyone's fighting with you, if you start feeling like just people are getting pissed at you for no reason, or like you're just frustrated, either you're frustrated or other people are frustrated with you, see if you are, let me see. Yeah. Okay. See if you are, putting it all out on the table. And if there's an area of life you could bring that fight to, which would be a more positive outlet. So you might already know that. And if you've already got that down, great. And you'll know, because like, are you stagnant and pissed all the time and resentful? And I'm not accusing you of that, but you know what I mean. If yes, then start lifting weights or start doing something, even little ones. Do something where you can put that need to strategize and fight and win, ideally into something that benefits you. Okay, so Quora is saying, I'm afraid to fight my battles alone because that's all I have done most of my life. Well, okay, and then, I wanted to kind of tie in this, like maybe there's a way you can fight without fighting with people, right? Like, I don't know why I just thought of like fantasy football, something else like that, maybe that doesn't involve anything that would be destructive in your life, where you can like bet on something and try to win, or even like something where you're strategizing, like making sure that Mars has a positive outlet with working. Usually it's going to be with working out, or expressing in a more sexual way, just depending on who you are. But you kind of want to put that Mars and give it a job so it doesn't attract hate and toxic shit. Okay, so then I want to go over this Mercury, and then we have another person who booked. So Mercury, the reason I'm bringing this up while I'm talking about Mercury is even though they don't have any aspect, Libra is like, I want to keep the peace. It's ruled by Venus. Scorpio is like, let's fuck shit up. Let's be willing to have conflict in order to expose things and get everything out on the table. So there can be some inner conflicts where like you notice someone's lying, but you don't want to call them out because the Libra part of you feels like that would make them uncomfortable. And then the Mars part of you is like, the Scorpio part of you is like, we need to expose the truth, right? So maybe leaning into that Mercury a little bit sometimes of like, let's not rock the boat sometimes. And I'm sure you've figured this out, but because Mercury is conjunct Uranus, Mercury will be like an on and off switch, and that's going to be your 12th house from your sun, your 3rd house from your moon, and 7th house from your, 7th house and 10th house, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. Okay. So that means with work too, there might be an off and on quality, like a freelancing quality, but it could also be, this could show up in relationships where like, I don't know if this is how it works for you, where you get frustrated and then you want to make up. But it could go the other way where you're really protective of your loved ones if they're getting in a conflict. and you want to like beat someone's ass. Not really, but you know what I mean? Okay, so there's a need to kind of balance out that peacemaker versus the warrior and give each part of those what they need. But Mercury, and I'll say one thing this is good for, and then we'll move on. Mercury Uranus is in Libra is going to be good for suddenly connecting with people. So if networking, like this is the networking aspect that I would just pay to have because you can just go start a conversation with anyone. It's in Libra. Libra is initiating relationships. It doesn't have to be love relationships. You really have the capacity and a strong potential here to start relationships with people. So if you feel like you're too shy, I would say that's something to work through because I see that potential here. Okay, we're going to stop there. I hope that was good. Thank you for booking. Yes. Okay. Yes, I knew it. Oh, sorry, Courtney. I'm still here. So Courtney, I'm still here. You can watch it. And then if you want to like just chat, if you have questions, I will respond to those. Okay. Thank you, Cora. I know I was like, I waited a little while too, because you weren't here, but for that, and I'll explain why. So thank you, Cora. The next person is going to be Kimeta. You are next. Anyone who books after Kimeta will be after that. And Courtney, I want to address this because what happens is I can't set the booking thing for the exact time it's going to be because if I do, then once I'm live, it disappears and people can't book. So I always have to set it ahead of time. But the live will be always on YouTube, scheduled for whatever time, around whatever time we're going to start. So that is why that is. Okay, Ruby Cubes. Okay, Ruby Cubes. I have to get your chart in. So let me get that in. So yeah, I will, Courtney, I can even go back to your chart and take a look at it after Ruby. Yeah, we can do that for just like a couple minutes. So if you want to watch yours while I'm doing this one, and then it can be like a clarification. I don't mind doing that for you. Okay, so let's go on. I got to get Ruby's chart into the thing, which takes me a second. You chose blocks. Okay, so I'm going to look at the problems in your chart, which by the way is kind of my favorite thing to do. And I'll probably just find the most significant, biggest one. It is so nice and warm today in Vegas. Actually, it's like, it was hot in this room. I was like, oh my God. It's so nice out though. I kind of didn't want to even do any work because it's like warmer than it's been, but still cool and not like too hot. So happy. Okay. I'm just checking. I'm entering all your info here. Okay, so for anyone else also who's here, Kameta is next. After Kameta, I think we're going to go back to Courtney for a second. Courtney, let me know in the comments if you want to do that. And then after that, anyone who books after that will be next. So if you book now, your reading will be started in like the next 15 minutes. Anyone who books today gets their reading today. This is fun. Okay. So I got your chart up here. Now, I do use whole sign. So if you're used to seeing it in Placidus, it'll look different. That's okay. There's nothing wrong. And I'm going to set the timer for 5, and we're going to see what we can get. Okay, so we have, I'm just scanning for the biggest challenge I see in the chart. Sun, moon, rising. I'm going to say, I think having Saturn conjunct the midheaven is probably my first, like this might be hard. Having the moon in Scorpio on the 12th has some challenges, but I think that's like personal reading territory because it expresses differently for everyone. But like you will have to work hard to deal with emotional stuff because having the moon in the 12th guarantees you need time to yourself to process your emotions. And then having Uranus there means they're going to come up suddenly. Actually, Uranus moon, we're going to cover this one today. That is a big significant aspect. A lot of my clients have Uranus in aspect with their moon. I have Uranus in aspect with my moon. And it's hard. It's hard because Uranus is about detachment and the moon is about connection. So sometimes people with Uranus moon connections in their chart have lost a caretaker in some way, shape, or form in their life, and they have to learn. I don't want to say it like that. They deal with more connections and then disconnections with people or situations that relate to the topic of nurturing. This could be a caretaker, a parental figure that was lost or that you became disconnected with or became estranged with. But this can also show up in just your relationships in general, where everyone needs a certain amount of connection, but then the moon Uranus person needs disconnection. They need to be able to disconnect when they get overwhelmed. And sometimes moon Uranus can be that feeling like, I just can't deal with this right now. So when that transit's activated, you would have that feeling come up. But it can also be something like, let me think, like one or two or maybe a few major emotional situations, like relationship situations where they end suddenly and you didn't see it coming. And then sometimes it can go the other way where it's you being like, I'm going to have to leave this relationship. And then you're the one who's making a sudden break away from a relationship at some point in your life. Okay, so that's the general gist of moon Uranus. There's some beauty in this block. You know, there's like the ability to love people from all different walks of life or all cultures, and having like a love for humanity and an understanding of people who don't fit in. You kind of like the misfits. You know, get people who are not as, I don't know, clingy. You might understand people better or love people better from afar. You might prefer long distance, or you might prefer relationships where you somehow get a little bit of your own space. So then that all being said, hold on. Let me see it. Let me check it. My screen says that here. That's not you. Your birth stuff is up. It's actually behind where my head is, my microphone, my camera. And I don't show it because of privacy. I actually used to not think about that. And then one of my videos got reported and I think it got taken down. So I just make sure that chart info that you submitted is not showing. That part where it says Vegas doesn't apply, but yes. What's funny? Okay, so then loving people from afar, having like this independence related to your need for nurturing. Sometimes the way you like to relax is to just zone out and play video games, watch fantasy movies, or do something else spiritual that's like you just get completely disconnect from reality and connect in with, something technological or just, get away from it all. In order to like cope with life, everyone copes, but that's kind of how I would see that. But okay, that's the timer, but I want to finish talking about this. There's more here. We could talk about if we get into like more personal reading stuff, but because the moon rules the 8th house and it's in the 12th house, usually this is a mark of a very spiritual person who, cares about the other side and the occult, tarot, witchcraft, all that stuff. Maybe not witchcraft, but sometimes, right? Maybe tarot, maybe like things, I don't know why I'm getting paganism, but like just things that are not mainstream. And the things that you love the most are not going to be mainstream. And also, hold on. Yeah, okay, so I just checked your birth time and stuff too. It's New York. Yeah, so like loving things that are like different or deep or dark or have some occult origin or have some like just deeper, more magical or more spiritual or unseen. Sometimes you might like ghosts and stuff, more that unseen phenomena. Maybe not though. And then also because it's the 8th house ruler, sometimes this can be debt, like you suddenly take out a credit card out of nowhere, right? Because the 8th house rules your debts, other people's money. But it's in the 12th, so this doesn't show like, oh, you can get rich off other people's money. It's not that kind of a thing. It's more like, I don't know. There could be some issues with other people's money you losing it or not being able to keep it. But don't think that if that hasn't happened, that's definitely guaranteed. Overall, Moon Uranus people are very independent. They can love, and because the moon is in Scorpio, it's like you can love the worst in people. Sometimes we see these can be like good placements for not totally counseling, because that would require a little bit more, I think maybe, but like a little bit more desire to deal with people's trauma. And I don't see that. But like kind of a life coaching, spiritual teacher, spiritual advisor, but in private kind of an aspect. I'm not saying you have to go do that right now, but you might just have those qualities within yourself here. And the block with Moon Uranus is that if those detachments when it comes to love cause problems, then, that would be, it's something you can actually work on. And that's what I'll say. I want to leave you with this. You can actually, whatever it is that you're like I talked about that feeling, like things just feel like they're too much. You can expand your capacity to tolerate things. You can learn when you need to detach and like that. And that's probably what you've had to do at some point in life already, is become aware, oh, I need a break. I need some alone time, and then go get it. And by doing that, like it'll recharge you and it'll avoid. Sometimes there's like an emotional charge that Uranus does to the moon here that is like comes out of nowhere. And so time alone, meditation, or anything you would do privately that's like spiritual could be solutions for that. Let me know, Ruby, if that made sense. I always love hearing back. So yeah, let me know. Okay, Courtney. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, what is Courtney saying? Just wanted to let you know everything resonated. Work has been hell. Might take the 30th off. Super excited for Jupiter in Cancer. Hope you're amazing and everyone has a great reading. Okay, cool. Cool. Do you have any questions though? I want to make sure you feel like you got what you needed since I started before you got here. Let me know in the chat if you do. Okay, Ruby's saying very accurate. I love this. Thank you. Oh, cool. Okay. I try not to read you guys to filth when it's like your first time. And it's like, 12th house is personal stuff. The moon is really personal. So I'm glad to hear that. I always like to make sure I'm not giving away all your secrets publicly. It's just the Scorpio placements in me that are like, no. There are certain things, I get it. Like whatever you have in Scorpio, that thing cannot be made public or else it's the end of the world. And that's just facts. Ruby doesn't mind the filth. Okay, cool. Okay, so we do have a little more time. If anyone wants to book, now is your chance to go ahead and get in with a reading with me. The way you book is by using the link at the top of the chat. And we've had 3 readings today. Let me check and make sure there aren't any more actually in the queue. Yeah. So those all got done. Check, check, check. And also, there is a way to go further with me for anyone who maybe is watching this afterwards or already got a reading and wants to do something else. I have an ideal career profile, which is me reading your chart for it's reading your chart for your career placements, which is like your sun, moon, rising, and then your midheaven. And that's all gonna tell us like what you might be good at. If you don't like the job you have, what kind of job you would absolutely hate and why, and what you need. Do you need freedom? Do you need connection? Do you need stability? Do you need to build something? Do you need to be proud of what you do? And by putting this together with the sun, moon, rising, and midheaven, and just seeing the themes in the chart, it really can tell you quite a bit about your career, and people have been loving it. I'm not going to show this because it would be the people who already booked. I don't want to show their info, but I'm going to read some of the comments they made. Let me see if I can find. Okay, yeah, so this person said, what did they say? I got some really good responses here. Am I smart enough to pull the comments up? Yes. Yeah, okay, so this person said, a lot of things. I love your analysis, practical approach, and sense of humor. They say, this was quite a mind-twisting exercise. Many thanks. That's about it. I mean, there's a lot, but yeah. And practical and my sense of humor is what they loved. And then there was another one. I'm telling you the other one too. Because there was another response from another person who got one who says, you really nailed it with this need with my midheaven, the need to help. She says the need to be seen with Leo midheaven, the need to help with Virgo, and the need for depth with Scorpio. And then she told me what she does and how it fits in. Yes. So I'm going to stop there. I don't want to give any information that's like personal. Here's another person who did the ideal career profile and what they said about it. I was very excited to watch the video you made for me, and I was very pleased with the result. Lots of what you said actually resonated, especially your interpretation of my moon square Saturn, blah, 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 kind of has been a recurring theme, and blah, 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 not feeling great in a typical 9-to-5 office environment. I tried that in the past, but it felt really stifling and just not right for me. They said they felt weird in a good way watching me make a video. Okay, and I can relate to this. I'm going to talk about that in a second. Okay, so that was what they said. And so now you have some testimonials on that. So that is another option. Those are going to go off of the schedule on Thursday. So if you want to get an ideal career profile video where it's me looking at your sun, moon, rising, and midheaven without I'm not going to do either of the crazy things. One crazy thing I'm not going to do is tell you you're supposed to be an astronaut or like the next famous person when you're not. Like, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you your chart has all this stuff that's not real, because the world is real. Like, I'm not going to tell you everything will just fall into place if you only do X, Y, or Z, because that's not how career works. But I'm also not going to make you feel like you're limited to the worst possible expression of your chart. I'm going to try to find a balance where if your chart has a bunch of filth, I'm going to read it. But I'm also going to look for what you can do with that, or try to help you see what you can do with that. I'm going to try to help you see why certain things are not authentic to you, because the thing about an authentic life and an authentic chart and all of that is like, we can sit here all day and be like, oh, I want to be authentic. But sometimes we don't know what that looks like or what that really would mean. Like, what does it mean to be authentic? And sometimes reading the chart, I can just go straight to that thing. And it's not like you didn't know that before, but it's a confirmation of the work you're already doing on yourself, which is why if you are a person who does work on yourself, I would love for you to book a reading with me, because you're going to get so much more out of it than someone who's like, oh, no. Tell me how to manipulate the external environment to get what I want. Don't get me wrong. I want to get what I want. I want to make good money. I want to be happy. I want to live in a nice place. I don't want that not to happen for you. But the way to do those things well is to know yourself. And when you know yourself, it's so much easier to lean into the good things and to not worry about the bad things. And this is one of the problems people have with astrology. I'm going on a rant here. People have this problem because what happens is someone will say, like, traditional astrologers will talk all day about what's wrong with you. And they'll be like, Mercury and Pisces can't organize their thoughts. And it's like, dude, Mercury and Pisces are the most poetic, fun people to listen to. I do not want to make you feel bad about your placement just because it isn't good at something. We all have things we would be shit at. Okay? There's a lot of things I tried doing as jobs that I sucked at bad. Who cares? It doesn't matter. When I was in college, I lost a job because I was cleaning this lady's house for $14 an hour. And I thought that was so much money back then. And she fired me because I kept leaving kind of early because I had a class. And I remember the cleaning products were giving me a headache, and I would go to class with such a headache, and it would be the rest of my day would be ruined. And I felt so bad about this. And thank God I had a supportive person in my life at that time. And I remember calling her being saying that job didn't work out. And she's like, yeah, she didn't say it like this, but she kind of said that job sucked. Don't worry about it. It's fine that you didn't do well cleaning. You don't need to be good at cleaning, which I appreciate people who clean and stuff. So it's not like that, but just instead of, that's the Mercury and Pisces person being upset that they aren't making sense or that they can't run a business meeting. The world does not need people with Mercury and Pisces running business meetings. It needs them telling stories and doing poetry and doing art and publishing their books and just having conversations with people that take them to another world. So that is my rant about that today. Okay, so let's see what you guys are talking about in the chat here. Ruby says, but delusional is my favorite color. Cora is saying getting reading helps me understand how to strategize my wellness and relationships. Yes, very true. That is right. Very true. Okay, I'm going to give a few more minutes for anyone else who wants to get their 5-minute live reading with me today. And this is going to be on, you have a choice. You can pick blocks, you can pick blessings, or you can pick transits. If you pick blocks, that's going to be I'm going to find the most striking challenge in your chart and talk to you about it. If you pick blessings, I'm going to find the most striking blessing or opportunity based on your natal chart and talk to you about it. For whatever reason, I think talking about the blocks is more helpful. And that's just what I think. And then if you pick transits, I'm going to talk to you about what's happening now and how the energy of this moment may be culminating to something that happens soon. I'll try to be within the next couple of weeks, but I might make reference to things happening even into next year. If I notice that it's going to be a significant transit for you, I'll give you a heads up now. And then if you want to know more, you can always book a reading too to see why, or to see the best way to see how a transit's going to affect you is to look at the last time that transit happened. So for example, we have Jupiter going into Cancer in June. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. It's going to bring blessings wherever it is in your chart that are like the best Jupiter blessings of the 12 year cycle of Jupiter. Yes, Kiki, I love Mercury in Pisces. I really, really do. They're some of my favorite Mercuries. Although if you're like trying to fill out a police report, they're not the ones to ask because which I love this. And this is why I love astrology. Because like, if you ask a Mercury in Pisces, like, what time was it? They'll be like, well, it was after the sky was the pink color of sunset. You know what I mean? Like, or they'll tell you something based on how they felt in the moment. And that's fine. But like, that's why it gets a bad rap, because when someone's trying to get information, that they find that frustrating when it's like, well, what happened? And the Mercury in Pisces is like, a wave washed over me. And you're like, but what happened? Ruby, you are welcome for the reading. And what else was I saying? Oh yeah, blocks, blessings, transits. The best way to know about a transit is to see what happened last time. So for Jupiter entering Cancer, it's good to know, because when you can see what blessings happened the last time that planet was in that place in your chart, that's really, really, really how we do astrology. So if you ever book a reading with me, I'm going to ask you what happened back in 2001, or what happened back in December of 2021. Or something else like that, to understand what we're going to see, like what's validated, how that placement and the planet is validated to have shown up in your chart. Lemon wants one. Let me see if I can look that up. I might be able to. They did, okay, that was the full reading. And I think the last one I have that was on November 3rd. I'll be in a new environment at the end of the year. What blessing can I look forward to in the new environment? How can I best prepare to receive my blessings? That was the question we answered. And I'm looking, I don't see any before that. There could have been one. Actually, there probably were. Because there was one, it looks like there was one on the day before that. No, that looks the same. I don't know. Greatest challenge right now. So we could do blocks or blessings because it's going to be in his chart rather than like timing. Or he can do transits again, and we can just do from now. It'll be like a shorter snapshot. So it's just whatever he's feeling at the moment. And it's going to be dark. Let me just turn on the actual light. It's going to make me look bad, but I'm going to turn on the light. So hold on, you guys. So I'm not a creepy zombie. Okay, I am sort of a creepy zombie though, still because of the light. But that's why that's just going to be how it is. Okay, so we have, what do we have? Let's see. I'm trying to, I feel like you can't hear me, but maybe it's just me. Let me see here. Nope. Okay. It's just me. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I have to really buckle down when I'm doing a police report, but then I do when people accuse me of being too dry. That sounds, I mean, yeah, because like with Mercury and Pisces, you have to just think so hard. That's interesting. I wonder if that might be like an aspect to Saturn. I know I have Saturn conjunct Mercury, and gosh, my writing is the driest fucking writing you've ever seen. But I remember like when I was in college, after college, I did I did like paralegal studies, and I remember I did like this legal writing course, and I got total accolades from the instructor because I can write that boring ass stuff so well. But like I have to work really hard, you guys, to write like emails that aren't just my writing. I had to work to get it to not be so boring, but that's okay. Okay, does anyone else want to do a reading today? Because it's 4:35, so we'll give you guys until 4:40 to, so I'll give you guys like 5 more minutes. If there's anyone who's like in the middle of booking now. And then we'll go ahead and call it at that. So if anyone's jumping on who's like just joining us, welcome. We're doing live readings. You can get a live reading from me on either blocks, blessings, or transits. To do so, you need to click the link at the top of the chat. It takes you to a page where it does all the booking and stuff. And then you can pick one of those 3 and then chat with me and let me know you did. And you get your reading today. It's so fun. And if you guys didn't see the Pluto and Aquarius video, it's up now. Also, the monthly for December is up. So you have a lot of new content. Not a lot, but some good new stuff from me. Lemon's booking. Okay, I'll wait then. Okay, I see it. So if anyone else wants to book, you can book while we're doing lemons. Lemon wants blocks. Okay, we'll do blocks. Perfect. Okay. So we're going here. And blocks. Let me see what I connect with right now. Yeah, okay, let's do Venus Uranus. Why? Because I remember talking to you about Saturn Moon and how that can show up. But Venus Uranus can have its own blocks, but also blessings to it. So we'll talk about that. The block of any Uranus placement is the detachment and the feeling of kind of not fitting in. And, let me set the timer. And the feeling of being different. So with Venus, it might be having a different style. It might be having a different sort of taste in love. And people with Venus Uranus contact will sometimes find that they like people who are different than them. They want to date someone who's like from another country, from another culture, from another something. Whatever you are with Venus Uranus, if you're raised liberal, you want to date a conservative. If you're raised conservative, you want to date a liberal. If you were raised whatever, whether it be political or not political or language or otherwise, it's like relationships are a source of fun. And so the Venus Uranus conjunction can be very energizing in love. It can be very fun. It can make love feel like it is a high. It can be so like exhilarating when you meet someone. You can have instant connections with people, but there can also be disconnections. Okay, so this can be disconnections in friendships, disconnections from you or from the other person. So because Venus in this particular case is moving away from Uranus in the conjunction. So let me zoom into this to explain that. That tracks. Oh, okay, cool. So let's get into it more deeply. Venus is moving away from Uranus, which means this energy is something that you will, rather than if Venus was moving toward Uranus, it would kind of give us the feeling that like this is something you're going to come into more strongly in your life. But because Venus is moving away, it's like, okay, this will be something that you deal with from when you're young. And then as you get older, you probably realize more about how to kind of separate from this. It doesn't mean it'll stop, but you're most likely to kind of, when you're older, look back on the times where you had these sudden connections and disconnections. But the thing about Venus, Uranus, and those things is that they'll feel sudden, but there's actually a buildup. So when it comes to the disconnections between you and other people, that you can't do as much about. But when it's you in a friendship, you'll just get to a point where you're like, you'll get to a point where you just are like, I can't do this anymore. Bye. And that's how you feel. It doesn't mean you say that, but that's how you feel. And so what you can do with this one, you can actually consciously expand the tolerance for the need to detach. You can choose when you start feeling that need to disconnect or detach from the person. It's almost like learn to rest, not quit, but apply that to relationships. Learn to take a break, not just throw the whole person away or the whole relationship away. And usually what happens is you sort of, and it kind of depends on how this shows up for you. I've seen it where it's like, someone stopped talking to you because you didn't go to their birthday party or like other little things where like people are just petty. Friends are petty and like detach from you over something really small. But I've also seen it where, again, like it's like that tolerance. So that is that. Now let's talk about Venus being in Scorpio though, because Venus in Scorpio can love the worst in people. And so sometimes what will happen is you don't realize how toxic somebody is until you really get to know them, and then you have to detach from them. Or maybe toxic isn't the exact right word, but it kind of is. You don't realize how many, I don't know why I keep wanting to use the word demons, not to scare you, but I think when I say demons, I mean like problems, right? You don't realize how many problems that person has. You don't realize that they're actually on drugs until a certain point you're like, oh, we can't be doing this. Or other things like that, where because it's in Scorpio, there's going to be this sort of buried secrets added dimension to it, and psychological thrill. Now it could be thrill, but sometimes because Mars is here, it might be a thing where you get to know someone and then you find out they're the kind of person that will, this is just an example, so just take this as it resonates. You realize they're the kind of person that like, would say like, cuss you out and then leave the room and go start crying and tell everyone that you did it to them. Take that how it applies in different situations. So sometimes when you have a bunch of Scorpio stuff, you have a little bit more than your average share of that kind of energy in your life to deal with. But also the positive side of Venus and Scorpio is you can see the worst in people and you can love the worst in people. So sometimes that means you want to be with someone who has tattoos, or you want them to have a scorpionic quality of that psychological thrill. Or sometimes also people with Scorpio, especially with Venus or other placements that relate to relationships, that's going to be, and for you, because let me see. Yeah. Because Mars rules the 7th sign from your sun, we can see it as a relationship planet. And if your rising is correct, also Venus is a relationship planet for that reason also. So it's like really wanting relationships to take you to hell in a metaphorical way. So like bonding through overcoming shared adversity, bonding through what we've overcome and wanting to overcome things with people, and feeling like wanting that ride or die, like it's us against the world kind of feeling, is another Scorpio trait when it comes to relationships. But sometimes you just want to be with someone who's kind of counterculture and like has tattoos and stuff. You know what I mean? So it can be that as well. Yeah. And so Venus, Uranus, those sudden connections and disconnections, this does not mean you can't stay in a relationship if you want to with Uranus placements. It just means that when you're upset, you need to detach, and learning how to deal with those detachments is going to be a theme in life. Okay, so I'm going to stop there just because of time, and I hope that was helpful for you, Lemon. And okay, I think I'm going to close out the booking now. Okay, and then I'll tell you guys what else you can do if you want to, and then I will go. Let me see, where am I going here? I'm just changing the time so anyone else who tries to use the link does not get it. Okay. That all makes sense. Thank you. Thanks, Lemon and Quora, for booking. And everyone who chatted, and Ruby for booking, and Courtney for booking. Okay, guys. So now I told you I was going to tell you what else we could do. What else you could do. So not that. It's going to be number 1. You can watch the Pluto video. And the thing about the Pluto video is there's 2, and you can watch both of them. There's one I just did live, Pluto in Aquarius for all signs. And there's one I just did, maybe it wasn't live, I can't remember now. Either way, I just did it. And then there's also one that was from a couple of years ago. So you can watch both of those Pluto videos if you want to know, because Pluto is now in Aquarius, and we're here, guys. We're in Pluto in Aquarius, and we will be in Pluto in Aquarius for 20 years. And if you're someone who gets scared of Pluto, seriously, do not be afraid of Pluto, guys. Pluto, a lot of people have way more fear of Pluto than, it's not like Pluto is easy, okay? It's not like Pluto is easy, but here's what happens. In a Pluto transit in a 20-year time where Pluto's going through a sign, there might be, for most people, one. If you have planets in Aquarius, Scorpio, Leo, or Taurus, there might be one of those years that Pluto's going to make an aspect. 1 year, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 months of 1 year and 3 months of another year, or something like that. Pluto is not going to be putting that extreme pressure on you constantly for 20 years. It doesn't work like that. Think about the last 20 years with Pluto and Capricorn, roughly. If you want to know what Pluto's going to do and you want to get a feel for what Pluto does, here's what you can do. And I should make like a reel on this because I think everyone needs to understand this. First, I need to look this up really quick. I'm looking up when Pluto entered Capricorn. And I'm going to tell you guys what to do here. This would have been years and years and years ago. Pluto, where is it? There it is. Okay, so this is just like a rough, quick little thing. Pluto entered Capricorn in 2009, around December of 2008, actually. So we're going to round up to 2009 to keep this simple. Think about what changed in your life from 2009 until now, 2024. And if you want to take this a step further and you understand your astrology chart, think about what changed in the house Capricorn rules in your chart. So let's say you are a Sagittarius rising. That would be second house. Think about what changed financially between 2009 to 2024. Now, were you under pressure to make that change every single day, every single year? No. Did you have moments where you probably felt like, I'd rather die than deal with this? Probably. Probably. And that's what Pluto does. And I hate saying that, but it's true. Anything in your life that you've ever felt, and even in a joking way, like I would rather put needles in my fucking eyes than deal with this problem. That's what Pluto does. Pluto brings up that stuff that makes us feel powerless. But when we can be like Persephone and go to the underworld and face our fears, we get to come back from the underworld more powerful than ever. And so if you're someone who gets scared, Pluto is not going to put that kind of pressure on you every single day of your life for the next 20 years. So don't be scared of that. And if you're afraid of what's going to happen in the world from Pluto entering Aquarius, look at Pluto in Capricorn and think about how Capricorn rules government and how it rules big corporations. And think about how much we now don't believe in celebrity culture. Think about how much now we see behind the scenes from all of these scandals that were going on and how much those scandals got exposed. Pluto in Aquarius is going to expose something on the world stage, and it's going to expose scandals related to technology. So don't get all scared. If you're afraid of robots taking over the world, so am I. So am I. But let's not, imagine if you just worried the last 20 years about how the government was going to fall or something because of Capricorn meaning government, and all big business is going to fall. Big businesses aren't really going to fall, but with Pluto and Aquarius, it's like we're going to be seeing businesses and things outside of the structure of our normal society, and those things have more potential to thrive. So don't be scared of Pluto. Have respect for Pluto when it's necessary, and knowing when Pluto's going to aspect a personal planet is actually more significant than knowing what sign Pluto is going to be in your chart, and that's a fact. So with that beautiful positive note, I think we'll stop there. If you want to work with me further, there's a bunch of different ways, and the best way is to go to my website, which I'm just going to show you right now because I have it up anyway. And there's links in the description. There's a link in the chat as well if you're on the chat. And I'm going to show it to you here. Let me see if I can do it. Yeah, okay, so we have here. You can go here. You can click here to get my free guide to align your midheaven, and you will get a shitload of emails from me, and a lot of them are selling stuff. If you do not want to be sold to, don't get on my email list, because that's what it's for. It's to sell you stuff so I can do this as a business. And then you can get this ideal profile video is a 10-minute video. You get a link to it. It's not a download. And it's me giving you a mini reading of the career indicators in your chart. You can click here to learn more. This tells you about it, and you can get it by clicking this button. If you want to know about my courses, which are going on sale very soon for Black Friday, I haven't decided when, but it will be very, very soon. You can get any of my courses, and they're going to be on sale. So if you want to learn how to read a planet and a sign in a house, if you want to learn how to your spiritual path with your 9th house, if you want to learn how to read your aspects, or if you want to know how to decode your midheaven, this one's really, really technical on like how to decode your midheaven. Maybe I'll make a video about this, about what each of these courses has in it and which one you might want to get. So I'm going to stop there. I hope to see you guys in another video. Thank you all for the support that you give on the channel. Sending all my love your way for the holidays and for anyone who doesn't celebrate. And I will see you beautiful souls in the next video. Bye guys.